Hey, what's going on, guys? Quinn here. Hope all is well. I want to make this video in regards to where does clarity come from and where does a certain level of confidence come from. And the reason that I'm doing this video is because one of my followers on Instagram reached out to me and said that he was just getting started and that he was beginning his business and he really doesn't have that level of confidence and clarity, which is understandably so, right? When you're starting anything and you're beginning, you're really not, there's not a level of confidence there, and there's not a level of clarity because you're new, you're beginning the process of getting underway. And he wanted me to share with him what it is that can bring you closer to that. And really, there's a lot of things, but one of them just time. Over time, as you begin to practice and work and refine your craft and become really in love with it, that compounded over long periods of time and putting energy and love into what it is that you're doing will ultimately lead to that level of clarity. So number one is time. And the second element that I think is important is creating results and getting people that either appreciate your work, whether you're an artist or if you have a business, getting those clients results. That's a massive indicator of you beginning that process of starting to get more clear and get more refined and have a certain level of confidence about what it is that you're doing. So if people start showing or talking about your art and saying, wow, this is amazing, this is really good, and you're getting engagement, you're getting positive feedback, that's another powerful way to continue to grow your level of confidence, and which would then increase your clarity. Because as soon as you get that client those results, or as soon as people start telling you that your artwork or your fitness program that you've built or whatever it is that you've done is working, that is the ultimate, like, whoa, I can do this, And as you then begin to start to say those things over, like, oh, I can do this, like, this is real, like, I can make this happen, you really just then start to create a cycle of continuing to say that over and over. And, another element which is extremely important, which is what I feel is missing in this space. If you're watching it here on this channel, this is geared primarily towards, young entrepreneurs, or older entrepreneurs, but really geared towards, my journey and what it's been that I've been doing when it comes to my social media marketing agency. And, I don't even like calling it that because of the, just all the people that have them and brand it, but, it's one way that I can at least somehow get the message out there. So, this channel has been geared primarily towards the younger entrepreneurs that want to see what I'm doing and learn from what I've gone through on my journey. And this is what I feel is missing, and it's one of the biggest things that I feel is missing, is a certain level of embodiment. Now, embodiment is basically, if you look it up, it's a realistic and now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know the specific definition, but from what I remember, it's a pure representation of something in physical or visible form. It's an actual representation, of seeing something in life, in person, and just really having it be congruent. So I kind of have my own definition of it, which is more about congruency with your mind, your body, your actions. What you say is congruent with what you're doing. What you tell other people to do is congruent with what you're doing or what you've tried. And so that's kind of how I see it. But if I look it up here, the actual definition is, a tangible or visible form of an idea, quality, or feeling. So, this is a big thing that I see missing with people in this space is that there's not a level of embodiment. Like there's not a congruent level of what they say to do and what is going on in their actual life. And there's a lot of pieces that I feel are being left out, which is, if you look at my YouTube and my Instagram looks better, than my YouTube, obviously, because we've just put, frankly, more effort into making it look good, not really so much anymore. But, if you look at my channel, you'll see that, I've put in some effort on some thumbnails, but really a lot of my style has just been to record things and just upload them. And we're realizing it's a blend, right? Being able to combine things that look produced, that have a clean feel, and I personally love how they look. But I think sometimes they miss out on the element of, I'm still here in my office working and, trying to grow my business. So, there's elements sometimes that I think people show, which I've been guilty of myself, where you can really, with today's world and technology, you can really angle things a certain way to make it be perceived as you're doing better than you are, or worse, or we have all these different things we can play with now. So I feel like this is something huge that is missing in the social media marketing agency space, is that there's not a lot of people that are very congruent across all of their all areas of their life. And I'm not saying that in a way of being judgmental. It's just when you get to a certain level of congruency with yourself, you start to really become aware of where others may not be being congruent. And so because I'm so passionate about educating people, and it's primarily what I feel is my gift, I'm aware of people that are influencing other people, and sharing information that is not necessarily in complete congruence with maybe what they're doing. Let's see how long this thing goes. I may close this here. So, there's just, that's just kind of how I see it, is just that that's what's missing. And that, I've seen the opportunity to create a course, right, for a social media marketing agency, and I see that huge opportunity. But there's just this element of me that's like, just wait, just keep doing the thing, just keep refining the craft, just keep getting better, just keep focusing on that, and everything else will just follow it. Like there's just that intuition of me that's like, don't worry about that, don't look at that for an opportunity to produce income. Don't see it as just that way. I feel like there's really everything right now is very crowded, and there's a lot of noise, which is why I kind of do these videos this way. It's just like, look, here I am, man. Like, this is me. I obviously do position myself in a certain way, because I believe it's where I'm at, not because I can just position myself that way. There's a difference between positioning because of your position and then positioning yourself a certain way because you have the ability to create kind of this perception. So when it just going back to the point of just being a beginner in anything, and getting clarity, and making decisions, and really having a level of confidence about what you're doing, I believe that factor right there, getting the beliefs, the action, the mindset, the routine, really it's everything, and when you start to understand it, you'll realize that everything in your kind of physical reality is a container for your level of embodiment. So if you follow me a little bit on that thread, what I mean by that is that, everything in my physical reality, my apartment, the furniture, the things, the equipment, my phone, my computer, all of these elements are containers for my level of embodiment. There's a reason that I don't have certain things that I don't, and there's a reason I have certain things that I do, right? And so to expand on that, what I mean is that who I am is congruent regardless of so for example, there are people that have things and objects and physical materials or clothes or just things, right? And even may live a certain way and have certain things. And then there's people that have those and the same thing, right? So somebody may have this car, this thing, and then there's another person with the exact same thing. And then one has a level of embodiment and earned and really went through each level and mastered each level and really spent a lot of time understanding each level and what elements are inside of leveling up and getting to where they need to go and where they want to go. And there's a certain way that person handles and uses these tools and relates to them. And then if you've ever seen somebody with the experience, or you've had the experience of seeing somebody that has the same stuff or maybe even better stuff, and they're, it's messy. I remember a few times just because of how I grew up, I didn't just get stuff all the time. I would find a way to get things that I wanted for sure, but it was in no way did I have some of the things that, some other people have. But I also didn't have it worse than a lot of people, right? So I'm not exaggerating. I'm just trying to give you an example of I just remember seeing, people that I knew with iPads and laptops and all this stuff, and they were dirty and they were they didn't have cases, and my phone and my thing doesn't have a case, but just the way I saw it was it was just part of their reality. There wasn't an earned element of it that really caused them to take care of it and use it and implement it. So you may kind of get what I'm saying to where you'll know people that have things or get to have experiences that are on the back of their parents or through friends and just through luck or just different elements, right? And then there's a certain level that they relate to those things because of their level of really investment into it. When I earned, if you look at my apartment, we'll have to do a tour coming up soon. This thing is spotless. There was actually a scenario where I spilled a shake when I was eating blueberry shakes in the morning. At this current time, I'm not eating any sugar, which is part of my embodiment, right? But I spilled a blueberry shake all over my carpet in my bedroom, and I literally I had my white bath towel, and I ripped it off the thing, and I got it wet, and I just cleaned it, and I sprayed it, and I spent probably 20 minutes there cleaning it and making sure I didn't stain the carpet, because every month I'm paying for this apartment, with our earned income from our business, and it serves as my office. And there's a certain leveling up that I had to do to not only be here and live here, but to continue to earn it and continue to show up as the person that lives here. If I was living back at home, I had a certain luxury of paying less for rent, and there was just a different level. And so that's really a lot of where this comes from when it comes to your business and growing and getting your work out there, is when you start to become congruent in all these areas where You know, like for example, for me, you know, the person I was when I started had no routine. I mean, I could say that I did, like I got to the office, you know, every day, but in relation to now, it's just not even close. Like now I have a trainer, you know, a personal trainer. I train in the morning 5 days a week, and I have to be at my desk at a certain time, and I have like these types of foods, and I'm like focused on these types of activities, and I'm going for a higher number, you know, a higher number than it was a year ago, a year and a half ago. And you know, it's because that level of embodiment was in line with who I was then. And so I had to change myself and change who I became and who I was becoming, in order for those things to take place and for them to be congruent, right? So then the equipment that I have, the clothes that I, you know, started investing in, like I spent a little bit more money on this shirt than I would have spent on like a shirt I like last year, and this shirt's way nicer and it feels better, and it's so much more worth it. And I started dressing differently, and I started just doing these things that I knew that were a part of who I wanted to become. So it's kind of like, well, you're not telling the specifics, but you know, you kind of have to find those on your own, because you have the answer, you know. And so when you start to move it through that, just that kind of belief system of like, okay, if I start to become who I need to be to get the client results, or to charge $6,000 a month, or 10,000, or 50,000, whatever that is, you know, you have to make moves and be around the people that can connect you with that, right? And you have to change every element of you so that it becomes in alignment with that new version. So just wanted to make this video. I was gonna do it on Instagram, and I'm like, I might as well just get kind of the whole thing out there. And then I think YouTube is the place to be. Like honestly, I'm on YouTube. I'm learning on YouTube. I watch YouTube. It's just, I feel like this is where it is. This is where it's at, man. So I wanted to create this video here because you know, it feels better to get more of it out there. And then I see Instagram kind of differently now, as some sort of vehicle to direct people, less than YouTube is like, I feel like that's the base, like that's your base where you want things to be. So nonetheless, share this with somebody, you know, share this with somebody, or my channel if you find this valuable. Like I said, look at my thumbnails, look at my style. I'm not going in on trying to make this stuff be a certain way, because I know that like my message and my content is there, and that if that travels, that'll move on its own. So hopefully this brings you guys value, and yeah, let's see if we can get me to 300 subscribers. When I start moving this and putting more content, I know that I can get to, you know, 10,000 subscribers, you know, fairly soon if I do the right strategies. But I've just been focused on building the agency. I'm turning my agency into like a program. So I still have my Done For You, but I feel like, you know, there's a lot that's going to be coming here. So just wanted to make this for you. Simple iPhone video, right off the top of the dome. Hopefully this finds you well, and I will talk to you guys soon. All right, bye-bye.